Hey everyone, my name is Kumo and this is my reaction to the 9th episode of Shoujo Shuumatsu Ryokou, or A Girl's Last Tour. So, in the last episode, Yuri and Chito came across some old lockers that were outside, like a lot of them, and found some various, probably not so helpful items. And they actually came across one of those beloved statues. And Yuri was taking pictures, of course, and we found out that she essentially forgot about the man who gave her that camera to begin with. Not super surprising. In the end, they decided to put the stuff back, because I guess they consider it to be like a memorial type thing. And a bit more dangerous of an event was when they tried to go up a spiral to get to the next level. And they got very close to dying a couple times there. Like, I know they're gonna lose that vehicle at some point. Maybe not in the series, but at some point they've had so many close calls with it. And if they have to start walking on foot, their life's gonna go downhill quickly. Which is saying something since they're already desperately trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world. Anyway, things took a turn for the better when they discovered some alcohol and got drunk together and had fun. You know, that was probably the highlight of the episode for them, at least. And for me as well, to be honest. So, that was the last episode. But we're here for the next one, so let's get into it. Let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah, at least you have a light, though. I'm sure you've had. Like in the very first episode, you were in a dark tunnel. Yeah, you actually have lights on the... Not just on the vehicle, but on that as well. Or there's a lot of rats in there. One of the two. But yeah, it does seem like there's some electricity going on, coursing through this place. I was kind of expecting an opening there. More philosophical questions to start the episode. Yeah, it's not sentient or anything. True enough. Huh. Definitely an interesting place. Not so interesting that she would stay awake for it, though. But what's with the bubbles that they keep showing? That's sped up dripping. Yeah, you can't really sleep through all these noises. At least I couldn't. But then again, I'm a light sleeper. It's kind of funny how he went from shut up to be quiet. What the? I think I see why the what counts as a living being question came up. I mean, it's a robot, I guess. I think I've seen something that looked like that before, like smaller. I love that look on their faces. Like, what did we just see? I know, right? It's living enough to squish you if you get in its way. Not yet, anyway. You're going to offend your vehicle. And you don't want to get on its bad side. That is definitely a possibility. I'd say, give me a ride, please. Well, you did find a fish, a while ago, didn't you? So who knows how true that really is. And I think I just saw a fish there. Yeah. It looks kind of like the fish that they ate before. That they sent its bones back down the river. Is this like a smaller version of the other thing? Yeah, it kind of looks like it. It actually said hello. 1 point for Yuri. But yeah, life is apparently the subject of this. I'm given one job and I'm gonna do it. Was somebody trying to repopulate the world with fish? Wow, he just met Yuri. He already knows her. I guess the jewel did kind of give it away. Well, if you're not a threat to me, we're eating. That would not be good. Yeah, you probably should have told her that part. Yeah, that thing you wouldn't want to mess with. Oh, so that's not even a guard. Then what are the guards? She's not gonna let go of that fish. He seems like a nice enough robot. Doesn't change Yuri's mind about the fish, though. Will the thing be able to walk over without falling over? I mean, those are just some really thin legs. I don't know. Of course you do. Oh? Yeah, like the one fish. So it's producing fish for food. How many times are we gonna go back to this? Yuri is determined, if nothing else. This is a very strange pool episode, but I'll take it. I will gladly take it. We had an odd hot spring episode, so seems only fitting. And of course, the hair censorship. Like Ochito just kind of watching. Well, of course you can't breathe underwater. That's kind of common sense. I didn't think she would strip completely naked to jump in the water. I'm not complaining. It'd be funny if she somehow found a fish in there and ate it before anyone noticed. So is Cheeto gonna join? She's just washing her clothes in it. It actually very well could have. I'm using this water to swim. Sheesh. Yeah, I love the difference of priorities here. Get wrecked. I see. So, technological advancement is probably what led the world to become what it is today. I know, right? Have you met Yuri? As well as other things. Thank you. It's always so boring to swim by yourself. But I guess going in... Yeah, I guess going in fully naked's a bit much for her. It's a robot! And the thousands of people watching at home. It's not like the people at home are really going to see much anyway. There you go. Swim, mostly. Cheeto. In other words, don't panic and you won't drown. Of all the ways to die in a post-apocalyptic world, drown in an aquarium. But yeah, that was a dream she had before. And there we go. She wouldn't let her drown. Probably. I performed CPR, so you should be fine. Mostly machinery and whatnot, I would assume. Even more reason not to eat it if it's a mutant fish. I'm sure that wouldn't stop Yuri. It's not that complicated. She'll just eat the food. Yeah. Not while you're drooling. I don't think he wants to go on a journey through your stomach. He really is such a helpful robot. I kinda want one. Well, you're probably even warmer when you're cuddling with Cheeto. I do not understand this concept. I'm sure it is. Is that where the episode's gonna end off? Of course not. The big guy has to come back into play. Ow. Yuri should be awake now. How is she not awake from this? And if I was that fish, I would stay away from her. Even if she was feeding me. Oh, that's not good. Why would he do that now? Even if you could, I doubt you could reason with him. What do you want, Pipsqueak? I can't really even venture a guess about how this conversation is going. But the end result should make it obvious enough. The way they represent them communicating is very interesting. Yeah, I figured as much. Hey, he was very helpful up until this point. I guess you could. Yeah, what's gonna happen to the fish? So I can eat him. But you can. Well, I can't eat it if I don't save him. She putting this concept she just learned about into practice pretty quickly. Sounds a bit risky, to say the least. Speaking of risky... It is not, at all. But you do have some plot armor that does count for a lot. And that is a very robot way to think. I don't think anyone does. That brings us back to the question of what qualifies as life. Yeah, exactly. You have to start from there to get an answer there. Not for long if things keep going this way. The robot's like, what is this chick doing? At least she had the presence of mind to use a rope here. Actually reminds me a little bit of a certain scene from Kimono Friends. A little bit. Yeah, so she attaches the explosives and then Chito pushes the button, but Yuri, you're gonna have to get off of that first. And also a safe distance as well. You know, it'd be some really dark comedy if him crashing down like that actually killed the fish. Yeah. Yeah, that thing. That is something, though. Large-scale destruction. But luckily the fish did survive. I don't think a fish will live a long life regardless of what happens. I was half expecting to see her drool one last time there. Whew. That was certainly quite an episode. It was pretty much entirely indoors. And I did like the callback they had there at the beginning to the first episode. Being in a dark place. Which is how we were introduced to the characters, in a dark tunnel they had ventured into for whatever reason. But like they pointed out, they had more lights this time, so it was less of an issue. Plus, they actually met some company in there, if you count robots as life. So there's a little bit left, okay. He's got to be hard at work making repairs as best he can. And then we get more credits. So that was the 9th episode of Shoujo Shuumatsu Ryokou. And I might actually have quite a bit to say about this one. because this was a very interesting episode. First of all, we started off with them in another dark area, which was obviously a callback to the first episode. They weren't exactly subtle about that, but I still really thought that was really cool. Of course, the difference being this one was a bit more lit up. And once again, an episode starting with a philosophical question. This time, what is life? How do you define life? What qualifies as life and what doesn't? That was pretty much a big theme of the episode. And they ended up seeing a giant robot soon afterwards that handles, like, construction work for the facility. And not only that, it was funny, Yuri pretty much asked Chito, hey, how would you respond if a robot came up to you and just said hello? And she's like, that would never happen. And then a few minutes later, hello, I'm a robot. Nice to meet you. What are you guys doing here? Pretty much. So that was fun. And we've discovered another fish, because this facility, they said, was mass production food facility. I might have got those words a little bit mixed up, but you know what I mean. Because we found out a lot of world building from that robot. That's humanity kind of separated themselves from the natural processes, like, the water cycle, all that. And then in exchange for more artificial, like they built very artificial cities of multiple levels. They just handle that all themselves. And they even have artificial intelligence robots to help maintain all of that. And that probably had something to do with their downfall. I don't think they got into too specifics about what happened to humanity, just kind of, humans are gone now, but they kind of still do their work. Which is another aspect that reminded me a lot of Kimono Friends. It's kind of surprising how much this episode reminded me of that show, actually. But anyway, Yuri wanted to eat the fish. The robot said, no, you can't eat the fish. But she still wanted to eat the fish. But luckily, in the end, she didn't eat the fish, and even saved it later on in the episode. But yeah, we also got a pool episode segment, kind of. Because the robot said, hey, we got tons of unused aquariums. If you want to go into one of them, it's fine by me. And Yuri jumped at the offer, quite literally. And just jumped in the water, completely naked, having the time of her life. While Chito was doing something, a bit more practical and responsible, laundry. Which Yuri did not appreciate. She was using that water to swim, then you had Chito just using it to clean her dirty clothes. I mean, the nerve of her, really. She did eventually decide to join Yuri in the water and swim around, after a lot of reservations. And even when she finally did, she was only partly naked because she's, obviously more modest than Yuri, and the robot was nearby, and she didn't want the robot ogling her body and all that. But she did end up getting in the water, almost drowned, but luckily she didn't. I like to think that Yuri gave her CPR off-screen. There's no reason to believe she didn't. And they ended up taking a little nap together next to some warm pipes, all cuddling up and stuff. At least until it was interrupted by a very large robot that just started dismantling the place. But eventually they were able to make it go boom and stopped it, and save the fish. And that really was the motivation there, is to save the fish that Yuri wanted to eat 5 minutes ago. So this was a very interesting episode, definitely gave us some more world building. And yeah, it is very much possible that the fish they saw before came from this facility, like it looked very similar. I don't know how it would have escaped this place, but considering what we know is that living creatures besides humans are all dead, so that does greatly increase the possibility of it coming from either this place or a similar one. Because when they first were wondering about where the fish came from, they were kind of looking up, speculating that that's where it came from, and they have risen up a couple levels since then, so it's very much possible. In any case, I greatly enjoyed this episode. This is a very, very good series. Very enjoyable. It probably has a good chance of ending up in my top 5 of this season, honestly. We are more than halfway through the season. I think we're like 3/4 of the season, actually, so it does have a good chance. It's definitely in my top 10, like, there's no argument about that. Anyway, I've been rambling enough, so let me know what you thought of the anime, what you thought of my reaction in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.